We were just shy of our 30th wedding anniversary when my wife, Laura, looked me in the eye and shattered the foundation of everything I thought I knew. "Yes," she said, her voice barely a whisper over the hum of the kitchen refrigerator. "Yes, I had an affair." And just like that, 3 decades unraveled in an instant. To understand the weight of that sentence, you'd have to know what those 30 years looked like. Laura and I met in college. I was majoring in mechanical engineering. She was studying English literature. I was the quiet type, structured, disciplined. She was a spark, the spontaneous flame that turned every plan into an adventure. She could quote Shakespeare and scream at a football game in the same breath. Somehow we fit. We got married at 24, rented a small place with peeling wallpaper, and dreams too big for our paychecks. Slowly, we built a life. 2 kids, a house with a leaky roof that we fixed ourselves, road trips, burnt dinners, PDA meetings, anniversaries marked with cheap wine, and exhausted smiles. We survived miscarriages, promotions, layoffs, cancer scares, and heartbreaks. We had what people envied, a solid, quiet marriage, one that weathered storms. Or so I believed. Looking back, there were signs, little ones. She started going to book club twice a week, always coming home with makeup slightly smudged and stories that didn't quite connect. She took extra care with her appearance, started going to gym after years of indifference. I chalked it up to midlife, to reclaiming a sense of self after raising kids. I supported it, encouraged it. I never wanted to be the man who clipped her wings, but I also didn't ask too many questions. I was busy, buried in work, managing teams, deadlines, and later, prepping for retirement. Our kids were grown, living their lives. I assumed we were comfortable, safe. I assumed too much. It was a Sunday morning when she told me. I was making coffee, wearing the same robe she bought me 10 Christmases ago. She stood by the sink, looking pale, her hands trembling around a chipped mug. "I need to tell you something," she said. That voice, not Laura's usual musical cadence, but something flat, almost distant. And then, yes, I had an affair. My first thought wasn't rage. It was disbelief. A strange, floating sensation like I'd left my body. I couldn't grasp it. I looked at her, my Laura, with silver in her hair and laugh lines earned through thousands of shared moments, and tried to find this other version of her, the one who betrayed us. "Why?" I asked. She broke. Tears fell, not loud sobs, just quiet devastation, like she'd been holding this weight for years and finally dropped it. "It was 6 years ago," she said. "It lasted almost a year. I ended it. I thought I could bury it, but I couldn't lie anymore. 6 years ago. That would have been right after my father died, when I was traveling back and forth to care for my mother, trying to hold the family together while falling apart inside. That was when she chose to find someone else. His name was Martin, a friend from her book club. Divorced, charismatic, lonely. She said it started with emotional talks, late-night phone calls, walks that lasted hours. It turned physical after a few weeks. They met at hotels. During the day, while I was at work, she swore it wasn't about love, that she never stopped loving me, that it was about feeling seen, feeling alive, feeling like a woman again. It was the kind of language therapists use. I didn't recognize her in those words. I couldn't understand how someone who had everything I thought we built together could still feel unseen. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I just sat there, let the silence settle. It felt like a funeral. And in many ways, it was. The days that followed were a blur. I moved into the guest room. We didn't speak much, only when necessary. Every room in the house echoed with memories I no longer trusted. I kept seeing images. Her hand in someone else's. Her laughter, not meant for me. Her body, her eyes, her voice, shared with another man. And it burned. She wanted to go to therapy, so we could work through it. That it was a mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. A mistake is forgetting milk. This was a decision, one made again and again, over a year. I found myself rereading old anniversary cards, looking at photos. listening for lies in old love letters. I became a detective of my own past, searching for clues, for proof that I hadn't been completely blind. But what hurt more than the cheating was the realization that she lived with that secret for 6 years, celebrated birthdays, held our grandchild, kissed me goodnight, all while hiding this. How do you come back from that? After weeks of silence, I told her I was filing for separation, possibly divorce. She cried, again, said she understood, begged for a chance. I told her I wasn't sure what I needed, only that I couldn't keep living like this. Our children were stunned. Our daughter stopped talking to her for a while. Our son tried to play mediator, but it didn't help. I spent months alone in a rental apartment near the lake. Woke up early, took long walks, cried sometimes, screamed into pillows, and slowly, very slowly, I started to reclaim myself. Not the man I was in our marriage, but someone new, someone quieter, stronger, wiser. I read books I'd ignored, took a painting class. I even went on a few dates. Nothing serious. Just people, coffee, conversation. I wasn't trying to replace her. I was trying to find me. 2 years have passed. We finalized a divorce last fall. Laura and I still talk occasionally. Our grandkids bring us together. There's no hatred, just a profound sadness, a mutual recognition that something sacred was broken beyond repair. She once told me, I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I believe her, but some regrets don't come with second chances. I never imagined I'd be starting over at 60, but here I am. My days are quieter, my home smaller, but there's peace now. Sometimes I catch myself smiling, not because everything is perfect, but because I survived what I thought would kill me. I lost a wife, yes, but I gained the truth. Love must be built on honesty, and healing starts the moment you choose yourself. And I chose me. Finally, I never imagined I'd be starting over at 60, but here I am. My days are quieter, my home smaller, but there's peace now, not the peace of ignorance or pretending, but the peace that comes after a storm, when everything's broken and you finally stop trying to rebuild what never should have crumbled in the first place. Last month, I saw Laura at our granddaughter's recital. She sat 2 rows ahead of me. Same soft perfume, same tilt of her head when she laughed. And yet, she felt like someone I used to know, a distant echo. After the show, she approached me. You look good, she said gently. I smiled, not out of bitterness, not out of longing, just a simple, clean smile, one forged in fire. Thank you, I replied. I finally feel like myself again. We stood in silence, the kind that once would have meant comfort. Now it simply meant goodbye. She turned to leave, and for a moment, I almost reached out. Almost. But I didn't, because in that moment, I realized something profound. The most faithful person in our marriage was the man I became after it ended. And as I stepped into the evening air, with no ring on my finger and no shadow beside me, I felt something unexpected. Freedom, not just from her,